Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Scorpio for December 2015. Check out my new blog on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and I'll be writing about astrology and all kinds of other things, so check it out. What do we have going on in this last month of the year, December, for Scorpio and in general? We have a festive season with lots of energy in Sagittarius, very busy, very active, and you'll feel that throughout most of the month, until the energy starts to turn into this quiet, more internal Capricorn energy. So if you are a holiday shopper, try to get your holiday shopping done by December 19th, because as of December 20th, Mercury's shadow starts and it gets kind of intense quickly. So you don't want to be buying stuff when Mercury is in retrograde or in its shadow. You want to get it when it's not. And this is one of the rare years that most of the shopping season is completely unencumbered by a Mercury retrograde transit. Yay! So we have that going for us, yay. We also have some pretty awesome party dates because there's some cool aspects. December 1st, December 8th, December 17th. On December 1st and December 8th, we've got two trines with Uranus. The first with Mercury, then with the Sun. And Uranus brings this energy of sizzling lightning, when it's in a really sweet aspect, it brings awesomeness, and Uranus rules friendships and groups, which this is going to be a big theme for us because Scorpio energy has big congregations of probabilities, possibilities in the 11th house, which we'll get to, but the 11th house ruler is Uranus, and these particular aspects happen with Uranus. So you'll hear me talking about Uranus related things throughout the Scorpio report because it's just very relevant right now in general and specific to you. So Uranus rules friendships and groups and humanitarian efforts and social media and gatherings, community. And so December 1st and December 8th, or the days around there, are fantastic with these sizzling Uranus aspects. When you have a trine, like we have on those days, you don't have to do that much to activate the energy. A trine just kind of comes sweet and simple. It just is how it is. When you have a sweet aspect called a sextile, 60-degree angle, you have to take some action with it. So on December 17th, we have a Venus aspect with Pluto, 60-degree angle, that requires action. Okay, so in order to really get all the juiciness of the energetic potentials, you have to do something. So look out for what's calling to be done involving Venus, which is love and relationships and finances and beauty and aesthetics, and Pluto, which is your planet. You know how Pluto is. It's like intense and it rules transformation and regeneration and, money and sex and power. It's just like, it's Pluto. I always call it a big dog. It's just like out there, and it does, maybe it's been downgraded from a planet. Doesn't matter to me astrologically. It's still the most powerful heavenly body that affects us, the deepest acting one, So you have these two energies, Venus and Pluto, coming together with some kind of action required. So be looking out around the 17th for your action required. Whenever I give you exact dates, please don't hold to those dates as the only times that you can experience the manifestations, because much like going to the beach, I always talk about the beach. First of all, because it's a good analogy for what I'm explaining, but second of all, because I love the beach and I'm a beach person and I live near the beach. But in any case, when you go to the beach, you feel beachiness coming before you get there. Like before you get over the bridge, there's tiki huts, there's beach stores, you can smell the salt air. That's what these transits are like. Before it actually happens, you feel them. They're brewing. And then after you leave, like when you leave the beach, you still have salt in your hair, if you're lucky, right? So that's what it's like. You don't just leave that day of the transit. It's like, oh, it's not affecting me anymore. There's no really strict line of delineation. There's just energy around it. And sensitive people can feel these things pretty early and feel them lingering later, and Scorpio people tend to be pretty sensitive, not sensitive in the way of, there's different ways to use that word. We'll just say that you feel things very deeply. And so your capacity to feel these before and after is magnified. Okay, so we do have the new moon on December 11th in Sagittarius on December 11th, 19 degrees. But that new moon is somewhat hindered by the aspect that happens the day before on December 10th, which is Mars and Uranus in this face-off, this opposition. Whenever Mars is involved, or whenever Pluto is involved for that matter, it has this energy in its lower vibration of ego or a standoff of some kind. And Uranus is this jolt of energy, and it's not usually welcome energy when it comes in a challenging aspect. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't make good from it. We just want you to be aware of it, It's like preparing for something. If it's going to rain, you're not going to leave all your nice magazines out on the porch that, has rain come in sideways. You're going to take the stuff in, and that's why we talk about these challenging transits, not to scare you or to be negative, because hopefully if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I'm not very negative, I'm very positive, it's in my nature. But we have to talk about these things so that we can transmute it, so that we can be ready for it. And this is going to be a time where it could be not good in some ways, You've got to be careful, you have to watch your physical body, guard your head. Mars rules your head. Watch egos, don't piss the wrong person off, Be really aware of energy that you're putting out there, because the boomerang effect is going to be magnified at this time. So that interferes with the energy of the new moon a little bit. It's not that you can't do your new moon wishes. I highly suggest that you do. But, it's just kind of a little kink in that usual open new moon energy. Then the other challenge that we have is on December 25th. This is a tricky full moon because there's more sweetness with this full moon than there is challenge. But we have to talk about the challenge too. So when we have a full moon, we know that there can be drama, or there can be fullness or completion or coming to fruition. And this full moon is at 3 degrees of Cancer. So it rules things that are very appropriate for holiday time. Home, family, going back home, having people in your home, being with your family, being with loved ones. So that can be part of the fullness, the coming to fruition. But then you've got Pluto opposing this full moon, and that brings power struggles. So the odds that there's going to be a power struggle on your holiday, in your holiday celebration, is dramatically increased because of this placement. But the odds that you'll have a harmonious resolution are also increased because it trines Neptune. So this brings harmony, it brings a transcendence. And then also Mercury is making a trine to Jupiter, which brings creative genius. So this is a time to implement the energy of Jupiter, which is the energy of Sag, which is the energy of floating around on a cloud, looking for solutions based on what you see from a bird's eye view. Sometimes Scorpio energy can get so laser focused. It's tremendous to me. Honestly, I am in awe of the energy of Scorpio all the time. My husband is a Scorpio, and I'm just like completely blown away by the laser focus that this man can have. It's amazing. So I'm just like, I love Scorpio energy. Oh, you could probably tell from my reports that I really, even though it's not a natural resonance with my sign Sagittarius, this is why I don't promote sun sign astrology, comparing your sun sign with someone else's, because who you are is so much deeper than your sun sign. But in any case, you have this capacity for this laser-like penetrating focus. But sometimes you can miss things that are going on in the periphery because of that depth. And this is a time that if you want to get out of that power struggle, that Pluto, your planet, this tendency within you, outside of you, maybe bringing up now, you've got to take a bird's eye view. You have to listen to advice outside of yourself, take things into consideration, look at the bigger picture in order to find the positive solution, the better possibility. I like a book called Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg to facilitate looking at the presentation of information in a different way so that you can phrase things in the way that you are more likely to be heard and other people are more likely to hear you. So a lot of times with Scorpio energy, it's so internal, it's going on within you, and sometimes it's hard to clearly get it out in a way that doesn't terrify people, So this would be really good for you. Check that book out. You can find it on Amazon. So, like I said, there's challenges around this holiday time, but I think that there's way more opportunity than challenge. It's just something you want to be aware of. So then we end off in a sweet spot on December 29th with the sun in Capricorn, sextile Neptune, and remember I talked about this 60-degree angle. Whenever anyone talks about a sextile or a 60-degree angle, I'm telling you now, you're going to learn this. You have to take an active role to activate the transit. A trine is just like, super simple. It's just sweet. It just comes, you don't really have to do anything to get it. But a sextile is something sweet, but there's an action required there. So if you get intuition about something, you've got to follow through with it, and that can put you in the right place at the right time. So those are the general transits. Let's talk more about these specific juicy Scorpio transits. There's a huge concentration of energy for early and most of the middle degree placements in the second house. And for those of you rest of the middle degree placements and the later degree placements, still pay attention, because what I'm about to describe is coming for you. It's just going to be staggered. The early degree placements receive it first. The sun, the new moon, Mercury are flooding into this second house of finances. So for many of you, that's going to bring good news with your finances. It could bring in new income stream. It could bring in the process that turns into new income stream because you're evaluating the question and the topic. Wherever the sun is, it brings this focus, this spotlight. And you look for the things that are right? You can see with the spotlight the things that are right, but you can also see the things that can be improved upon. So in any case, there's this question of your finances, this question of the money you spend, the money you earn, your expenses, what you value, your values in general, besides not having anything to do with money. So you're asking those kind of questions, and there's a lot of activity there, and there could be, like I said, a new source of income that's opened up with that new moon. Some of you middle and the rest of you later degree placements have this concentration of energy still in your first house. And your first house is all about your identity, your physical body, your vitality, it's like the time of rebirth. It's the time that comes with your birthday, or when the sun crosses over your ascendant, if you're watching for your ascendant. It's like rebirth time. What do I want to take with me into this new year? New energy, clean slates. So you still have quite a bit of power in that redefining of self. It's so beautiful when you see how everything's lined up in this perfect order astrologically, that of course the universe would bring all this concentration on what you're bringing out into the world and how you can bring it in a different way, and who you are and who you want to be and how people see you before you get to the topics of money, because you've got to get a firm footing within yourself before you say, okay, well now how I bring things to the world bring money in for me. It goes in order like that. So you're still working with that energy of this redefinition of self with, physical energy. You might have more energy than usual, and if that's the case, you might need to exercise more. That transit I talked about on December 10th with Mars opposing Uranus, and those days around there, you might feel really nervous. It's any challenging or any aspect with Uranus really can feel like you're sticking your finger in a socket. You're just like, you're getting electrocuted, but especially the challenging aspects, because that gets you frazzled, your nerves frazzled. You might need to move your energy, your body more around those times. And when you have placements in the first house, a lot of times that happens. You've got to burn this energy off. You have to ground the energy. I like to ground the energy in the earth. It's going to be winter for most people. We don't really have winter where I live, but you can't tell from behind me because that's where I used to live. But anyway, I can ground my bare feet in the ground all year. But if you have snow and you can't do that, you can put your hands and your third eye against a tree. This is not just a thing for hippies. This is not just a thing for woo-woo metaphysical people. This is a scientific phenomena that is proven by do it yourself. Experiment with this. There's a frequency to the earth that draws, the energy of the tree will draw this electric out of you and help you to become more calm. Even if you walk by the tree, it helps, but you'll feel it. If you're paying attention, you'll feel this electric coming through your hands, coming through your third eye, and you'll feel it going into the tree and it grounding and settling you down. So if you're in a cold climate, you can experiment with that. So we have all of that going on. Earlier I said that we've got 11th house things going on, and boy do we. For you early placements, you've got Jupiter there, you've got North Node, which rules your highest expression in this lifetime, and wherever it is in transit, that's the area to focus on to bring about your highest expression. So early degree placements have Jupiter and North Node. Middle degree placements have the start of Jupiter and North Node and Mars, which is a shorter term placement. The later degree placements have Mars and Venus, so just short term for now in this 11th house, but that longer term is coming for you. 11th house is all about the internet-based businesses and projects, things involving community, groups, teams, friendships, social media, parties, acquaintances, basically connecting with people. So networking is here. Networking is huge at this time for you. All of the things that you want, your big things in life, you're going to get them through networking. And this is going to help you. I mean, there are going to be other components to what you want in life, but the 11th house rules your big dreams. And that also is the 11th house that rules the networking. So there's an association between bringing your big dreams into reality and working with groups of people or connecting with the right people at the right time. Remember I said at the end of the month you might have a strong intuition about something. Of course, this could happen at any time you have a strong intuition about something. But there's some good energy around this where it's like, I should talk to this person, or I should send this person a note, or I should meet this person, and then synchronicities follow. For some of you middle degree and the rest of you late degree or all late degree placements, a lot of that strong energy is still in your 10th house. The 10th house is the house of work and career and life purpose and recognition and validation and being seen. So if it terrifies you to be seen, it's going to be harder to get your stuff out into the world, right? In many cases. So you might have to work with some things or partner with people to get your stuff out there. But this is a time where you're likely to have recognition and people are going to see the genius that lies beneath that quietness. You know, sometimes Scorpio energy, it's hard to tell what's going on. There's a lot going on in there, you know. Some people are easier to read than Scorpios. Scorpios are not very easy to read in general, you know, like Sagittarius for the most part. If I'm pissed or if I'm happy or whatever's going on, I like wear it on my sleeve, you know, you kind of know where I'm at. Scorpios, you don't really know what's going on in there. And so it's the same thing with your creative genius. It's locked in there in many cases, or you have examples of it, but the world doesn't know about it. And when you have 10th house expression like this is the time where the world has a good chance to start to know about it. So that's very exciting. So those are the things that we have going on in this month. Definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and check out my new blog, which is kind of like an old blog because I used to be a huge blogger. I blogged quite a bit. I have been a writer for a long time, and now I'm bringing my blogs back. So there will be diverse topics, not just astrology, but also astrology, a strong astrological focus on my blog. So check them out, anniehelpsyou.com. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your month, rest of your year, and I'll see you next year. Bye.